Okay, this is, guys, quiet. This is part 1 of your final exam review. All right, we're starting by using the percent equation or proportion to answer the question. You guys remember what these are? No. The percent proportion. Yes. A over B equals P over 100. The percent equation is A equals P times B. All right, so when we solve for percent, my preference is to use the percent proportion because I don't have to convert at the end. But you can use either one. Do you want me to do the first one with you? You want me to do the first one? Okay, so just watch up here with me, and then I'll have you do the second one. All right? So my formula is A over B equals P over 100. Do you remember from what we learned in class which one of these numbers is my A value? Yes. It's my is, so 19. And then what's my B value? 600. I don't know P over 100. Now what could I do? Do my cross products. So 1900 equals 600P. Divide both sides by 600 and I have my answer. And it's already a percentage. All right, so I just write my answer. Yeah, because P stands for percent. All right, any questions? Okay, I want you to do the second one. All right, so 54 over 75 equals P over 100. Cross products and divide. Did you get 72%? No. 72%? Okay, very good. So now in the next slide, we're finding the new amount. So I need to find the percentage of a number. And then if it's an increase, would I add or subtract it from the original? If it's an increase, I would add it. If it's a decrease, what do I do? Subtract it. So if I'm trying to find the percent of a number, what do I have to do to the percent first? Change it to a decimal. 14 times 1.05 equals 14.7. Then what do we say we do with that number? Add it back to 14, and we get 28.7. Okay? I want you to try the second one now. So we change to a decimal, we multiply, and then we subtract. Did you get 9? Okay, very good. So finding the new amount. Now, do you guys remember when we did wholesale, markups, discounts, and all that good stuff? Okay, so here's your wholesale and markup, and then your original price and your discount. I want you to find the new price. Find the new price. So to find the new price for wholesale, we changed the percentage to a decimal. Did you do that? We find that amount and we add it back to the original. Did you get 76.50? Who got 76.50? Okay. Now on the discount, we take the original and we multiply it to find that amount. And then do we add or subtract it? We subtract it to find the discounted amount, $32.40. Oh. Now we're going to find simple interest using this formula. You will have to have this formula memorized for your final. A equals P times 1 plus RT, where A stands for your final balance. That's the final amount that you would have in an account. A is your final balance. Why they don't use B for balance, I don't know, but that's what it is. So A is your final balance. P is what you're solving for. What value would you plug in for R? 0.035. That you plug it in as a decimal value. So when we make our substitutions, all right, here's what we get. All right, this is my A value, my R value, my T value, and I add them to 1. So now what do you think you do now? You have to simplify what's in the parentheses, first by multiplying, and then you add 1 to it. All right, what do you get when you multiply and add 1? What do you get? 1.07. 1.07. P. All right, now solve. Okay, so now I divide both sides, and P is what? $1,255. What does that mean? That means the initial amount that I invested was $1,255. and my final amount that I had in my account was $1,342.85. Any questions on how I solved for P? You have one just like this on your final. All right, so that's simple interest. Now, let's go over and switch gears just a little to function form. Function form, does anybody remember function form? Y equals mx plus b, where m stands for the slope, your x and y are your ordered pairs, and b stands for your y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. So here's your formula, y equals mx plus b. Now you have to write this equation in slope-intercept form. So you have to get y by itself on one side of the equation. So what would you do first to get y by itself? What would you do? Subtract 8x from both sides. So minus 8x from both sides. Now, how would you rewrite the equation? 4y equals, do you write the negative 8x first or the 24? 24. Do you write the 24 or the negative 8x first? What does slope-intercept form say? The term with the x comes first. So negative 8x plus 24. All right, so I'm done. This is my answer, right? No. What do I have to do now? Divide both sides by 4, everything by 4, and you get your answer in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, where negative 2 here is my m value, my slope, and 6 is my y-intercept. And guys, you can graph it straight off of this, can't you? Because it intercepts the y-axis at the 6, and then my slope is negative 2 over 1. You don't have to do that on your final, but that's where we're going with it. All right, so now I need you to solve this one. Write this one in y-intercept form or in function form. Write it in function form. All right, so what do we do first? No subtract. We add 12x to both sides. Then what do? Divide everything by 3. And remember, your x term comes first. Y equals 4x plus 3. Who got that right? Y equals 4x plus 3. Good. All right. Last thing we'll cover today are our x and y intercepts. If I need to know my x and y intercepts, if I'm trying to solve for x, I substitute 0 for y. You remember when we did this? If I'm trying to solve for y, I substitute 0 for x. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. If I want to solve for x, 0 gets plugged in for y, and then I can solve the equation. And then I just do the opposite again, okay? Go ahead and finish solving for your x-intercept. So if I'm solving for x, I substitute 0 for y, and I solve the equation. All right, so did you get negative 2? Yes. Okay, so now if I want to solve for y, what do I plug in for x? 0. Go ahead and solve for your y-intercept. Oh. Okay, so we substitute in our 0, and we got negative 2 again. Okay, did you get negative 2? Yes. All right, any questions? Okay.
Yeah, you have to solve for y.
But you had to solve for y, so you substituted 0 for x. It just happened to be that both of them were a 5. Okay, now I want you to do this one. This second one, I want you to find the x and y intercept, and that's it. That's the last thing we'll do for this part of the finals review. Go ahead and find your intercepts. So substitute 0 for y when you're solving for x, and 0 for x when you're solving for y. All right, so we plug in 0 for y to solve for x. Did you get negative 2?
Yeah.
All right, then we plug in 0 for x and solve for y.
It was easy.
Okay, y equals 12. Who got them both? Good job, guys. All right, that's it for part 1 of your final exam review.